Okay. And then the bottom roll,
bottom one,
what are we selling that for? 40? It's that Lapierre roll. We're selling that for what? It's right on there. There's a little hang card.
Is there a difference in like price for rolls?
Yep. So today we're doing a special. So this is regular H2O 3/16. The bottom roll is the Max Flex from Lapierre, and today we're selling that at dealer cost. We want to have producers try it out and put it into their woods and see if they like it.
$45.75.
Yeah. So today we're selling a normal MSRP on that $63.
So that's a bargain. All right, tell me about this 5-cent premium. This is a good idea.
So today we're purchasing bulk syrup. If you bring your bulk syrup, we'll give you an extra 5 cents per pound if you use that syrup, that whole barrel, towards maple equipment.
That's genius.
The difference, if it's less product, it would be a credit on your account.
That's genius. Does anybody else do that?
I don't know.
Huh. You know they will now.
Yeah.
So we're at an open house here, and plenty of people. And I guess Brad's down there in the old hay barn, now cooler, weighing and grading syrup. So I'm going to make my way down there at some point. So this is something the industry desperately needs, is another fill setup. So it's got a overflow filler and a capper all in one. Can you add more fillers to the unit, or right now is it just one single?
One capper, one.
I got you.
So all you do,
You're going to demonstrate this?
you set the table depth-wise for whatever glass you're in. I turn the air off to make that setting.
I got you.
And I leave it off. And I make sure that it hits the bottle. So I put the tray in. These levers, they move in and out to capture the bottle.
Heck yeah.
And then you crank till the rubber just touches the bottle you're working on. And then once you've done that, you give it 12 more cranks and you see the difference in height. So now it's set. So the next thing you want to do is fill the bottle. So you turn it on. This is, in a sense, a timer.
Yeah.
Push the button. Put the bottle in.
So the switch is actually here.
Yes, when you push back.
I got you. So it comes down when you push it in.
Correct.
It's genius.
So now, as soon as it gets through the overflow, now every bottle should fill to that height.
Cosmetic fill is what they call that.
And then put the cap on. Push the cap around.
That's pretty smart. Now, what's a rig like this run?
This is just the unit itself is 7,800.
Right here, this one.
None of the shiny things.
I got you. And it's pneumatic.
Pneumatic.
You'll need air.
And you need electric for the timer.
And then you can control a lot of the speed with these, right?
Correct.
That's pretty slick, Eric. That's pretty cool. Smart. All right, tell me your story here.
How's it going? So my name is Damian Hill. I'm a third-generation sugar maker. I'm in business with my dad, Dwayne Hill, and my uncle, David Hill, and formerly my grandfather, Dennis Hill. So here on our farm, we're located in Harpersfield, New York. We're in the northern part of the Catskill Mountains. Right now, we boil from about 11,000 taps, and then we buy sap from another couple thousand taps as well. This year, crop was pretty good. We made a little bit over 4,600 gallons of syrup. And here, this is our retail store. We're open 9 to 5 every day. So today we're doing our Maple Equipment Open House, but then we also are part of the last 2 weekends in March, Maple Weekend or Maple Open House. And then we also have a really big online business where people that aren't from the area come in, they like the product, and then they buy it from our website. So if you follow along, we'll answer you some questions.
Heck yeah.
And so as you can see, we've got quite a variety of value-added maple products. We've got maple barbecue sauce, a mustard, a hot sauce. We've even got spice rub, coated nuts, and we even got...
And this is all available on your website?
Yes.
We'll put that down below in the comment section, or actually, it's in the description. We'll make sure we get your website in here. But what do you sell the most here?
Yep. Our biggest seller is the maple cotton candy.
I was hoping you were going to say that because I got to bring some back.
Yeah.
I want to do a show next weekend, so I'd like to buy it to resell it.
Yep, we can do that. Yep.
Do you have enough made that I could buy some?
Today?
Yeah, okay, good.
We've got a little bit.
I'd like to buy like 24, 30 of those.
Yeah, we've got them. No problem. And then, so as you come down, work your way around the hallway, So this is a little bit outdated of a U.S. map, but we officially have shipped to all 50 states in the country multiple times. Last year we were actually able to perform that just in the month of December.
Get out of here.
Yeah, so last year from Thanksgiving to Christmas we shipped well over 1,000 packages across the Northeast. And we've also had the really good opportunity to ship international. So all these pins, all the way from shipping
You did 1,000 packages just in December.
just in December, yeah.
Holy cow.
And so our online business,
What's your average sale price?
our average sale price is $74.
So you did 74K.
Yep. And so
Online.
on our website, we've created TFS. It's threshold free shipping. And so what that means is if you order over $100, it's free shipping.
Smart.
And so our average order value was around $50. When we implemented the TFS, it made our average order value 50% greater.
No kidding. Went up to $74
Yep.
with free shipping.
Exactly.
It's smart.
Yep.
I never heard of that.
And we
That's
made
cool.
it so that if a customer buys 2 gallons of syrup, they get free shipping. But it also incentivizes them, instead of buying just 1 gallon, they're going to buy 2.
That's smart.
Yep.
You just trial and error, right? Just kind of try things.
Exactly. Yep. And so we've built in enough margin on our website, and we know what our average shipping price is. That the goal of the website is to be wholesale plus, not retail plus, right? Or retail minus. So as long as we can, hit it's our best wholesale customer is the way that I explain it.
I got you. That's good to know.
Yeah. And
Do you manage the website? Like, do you build it?
I do not. So
Do you have a company that does it well?
my sister, Delco Creative, so she fortunately...
She also does all of your embroidery, right?
Correct.
I
Yep.
saw
So
that.
all of our shirts, hats, everything.
What's the name of her business?
Delco Creative.
She's got a website and stuff? Good.
exactly.
I'll put it down in the
Website
description.
and Facebook page, yeah. And so she's not only done ours, she's also done other maple producers. So she's
Cool.
very, apt to understand, maple syrup and, what.
So your
what
sister's
to-
why you're winning.
Yes. Yep. And then so as you come down here, this is a article in the New York Times that we were sponsored in back in 2011, which was pretty big for
That probably helped you.
small town Harpersfield, New York. Yep. And then this we just created this year.
This is cool.
This is a timeline of our
So
family.
you really want to start down here, huh?
Yep. So starting all the way back in 1912 is when Alvin and Alice Shaver actually came to the Shaver homestead.
Gotcha.
And so their oldest son was Gaylord Shaver. And so Gaylord Shaver and my grandfather Dennis are the ones that partnered up. So Dennis came to work from Gaylord, and there was a friendship that lasted forever. And so our name, Shaver Hill Maple, comes from Shaver, Gaylord's last name, and then Hill, my grandfather's last name.
I got you. And we're on Shaver Road, aren't we?
Yep, exactly. So it was Shaver Road because it was the Shaver homestead, and then Shaver Hill got tacked on when my grandfather became a
Okay, that makes sense.
And then in '83, when my dad and uncle were out of high school, the three of them, my dad, uncle, and grandfather, bought the farm from Gaylord, and then they continued to be a dairy farm until 2004 when we sold our caps. And so maple syrup was always, on the side, a cash crop. And then as things progressed and the dairy business was a little bit harder around here, we decided to make the leap and go full-time
Now,
maple.
who made this thing for you?
So this is a lady that I work with that helps us design all of our jugs. And
Gotcha.
so we supplied her with all the content. I ordered the banner off of Vistaprint. Pretty reasonable. I think there was like a couple $100.
This is genius. I have never seen anything like this.
And so what's neat about
But
it
this thing, I recommend everybody doing this.
and what's neat about it is
History.
in a couple years, if we do something bigger and better, we can
Add to
condense
it.
the banner and add to it. And what we've also found, this was our first one that we ran. There's some key things that we forgot to put in there, and so after this one gets tired, we'll be able to replenish it. And what's cool about these banners is you can have the option to make them an outdoor banner. So if you're
UV protection.
exactly, yeah. So if you're going to like trade shows and stuff like that, you can bring it with you.
This is awesome. Just getting a shot of here.
Yeah.
Your dad hasn't changed much at all.
Gentlemen.
How's it going, Mark?
Good, good.
Mark and I talked for quite a while.
Yeah, so this
was
was my
fun.
customer's Mark. He's got a new sugar maker. This will be his third year making syrup. He's got
Sick addiction, man. He's in. Look at two-handed tool.
Without a doubt. And he feeds my addiction very well.
and so
Love it.
Mark came to us and says, I got a couple.
Well,
chickens
his
back.
name's actually Maple Mark.
Yeah, this is the official Maple Mark, and so
And you have a Instagram,
City of Hills Maple.
City of Hills Maple, because that is the name. How do you say that town?
Oneonta.
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 Spelled one-onta. One Oneonta.
And it's City of Hills Maple and Maple Mark. I'll remember that. My brother-in-law's Maple Mike. I guess there can be a Maple Mark.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah.
Maple
Awesome.
family.
Absolutely.
So this kitchen, this is one of our maple kitchens. This is where we make some of our value-added products. So on this machine here, which is actually made back in the 40s, is what we still use today to make our maple cream and our maple granulated. And so here, you can see on the fridge, we've got shots of actually making them. This is pretty cool for our customers. This shows the 4 different stages of granulated maple sugar. So we have it when it's hot out of the pan is the first step. Then when you start stirring it, it gets a little bit, coagulated. Then it starts to lose the water through the evaporation. And then here you can see really good there where it's actually the granules of the granulated sugar.
And I'm seeing you got a little bit of these are your paddles right here.
Yep. So these are actually hand carved wooden paddles.
Yeah, I'm just checking for chips. Just checking for chips in the end. It happens though.
Right.
But you'll know. You know, this is maple too, isn't
it? Yep. And so what we do is we heat all of our syrup in a steam kettle, and then we're actually cooling the syrup in the pans all day long. So then that way, after the syrup has become that taffy-like, we can put it on the machine and we turn the maple cream.
And actually, you guys do some classes too, right?
We do.
I think you just taught a class. Did you go to Bascom's recently?
We were at Bascom's. We didn't teach at Bascom's this year. This year we taught at the Leader Open House.
Okay.
But we've been invited to go across the Northeast.
You're pretty good at it.
We're okay at it. So fortunately, with the maple cream, we're making about 3,000 pounds a year, and with the sugar candies, we're making probably close to 4,000 pounds.
Gotcha. Do you wholesale any of that to other sugar makers?
Yes, we do. We have a lot. So it's kind of twofold. Some people, their demand isn't there, and then some people don't have the time. And so they can call us up. They can order all the way from a pound to 20 pounds of candy, and then they repackage it and sell it.
Do you do the crystal coat?
We do not do the crystal coat. So fortunately, our business, we make all of our sugar to demand. So we're making a batch probably once or twice a week.
Gotcha. Is that a big part of your online business, is the candy?
So our biggest seller is the fluid syrup, and our second biggest seller is cotton candy, and third is the maple candy, and fourth is the maple cream.
Gotcha.
So, those products alone, carry probably 70% of our website.
And this was the original, I've seen these before. Leader made these, right?
No, there was only 2 of these ever made. So this is a glorified version of the Leader machine. We're actually able to make 60 pounds of cream. So each pan can make 30 pounds of cream, whereas the Leader pan, you're only going to be able to do like a gallon and a half batch, whereas here we're doing closer to 3.5 gallons.
Now, is this cream up above?
Yep, so this is maple cream. So as many of you have seen, so it'll look like a taffy color when we stir it, but the difference is with the granulated, you're cooking it higher and stirring it hot. With the cream, you don't cook it as far, and you've cooled it all the way down. And then the maple sugar candy, you cook a little bit higher than cream, but less than granulated.
It's right in the middle, isn't it?
Yep. And you let it cool a little bit, but then we stir it pretty much hot. And so this is the first mold essentially, so it comes out looking like syrup, and then those will still turn to candy.
Gotcha.
Yep. And then
That's very cool.
Behind you, Nate, on the cork board, this is our mapping that we do. So all of this mapping is done through a free app called Onyx Hunt Map. I actually have the paid version so I can have the different colors. And what this mapping is it's all of our main lines.
So where are we at right now?
So we're right here where the black sugar house is.
Gotcha.
And so our farthest tree at the end of this white section is 1.5 miles away.
Now so here's where the syrup's coming in?
Yep, so this is the bulk syrup cooler.
And then I saw the tubing coming across, and I think Brad was telling me you gained 5,000 taps?
Yes, so this whole section is 5,000 taps.
I got you.
And so we used to tap what this little section of red is, and then I bought the neighboring property, and then we set up a tap lease. And so now it's all 5,000 taps that comes down here to the shipping container, the blue pin, and then we're actually pumping it up to the sugar house.
I got you.
So we're able to have these 5,000 and these 1,400, so 6,400 taps come right to our sugar house.
Gotcha.
And then these 2 blue pins represent 2 remote pump locations.
You're hauling from there.
That we have to haul from. Yep.
What are we in now? We just stepped through the kitchen.
Yep, step through the kitchen.
And this is like your store for online shipping.
Exactly. So this actually, believe it or not, used to be a butcher shop. So when my grandfather started, they were selling maple syrup out of a trailer that used to be their house, converted it to a store, and then they decided to build this lower part of the sugar house. So kind of like a house hack, but a business hack. He used half for the maple, and then the other half was another business. Well, now the other business owner, the butcher, decided to retire. And so then when I came home from college, we grew into this part of the building.
So this is like, you get an online order, comes through the computer, and it's like flow, right? It comes right through. You go shopping essentially with your cart?
Yep. Well, so I've got a red basket that we would normally have. So we've set
like each order goes in a basket.
Correct.
Interesting.
Yep. So the way I've set it up, there's about 3 levels of efficiency. I've got vertical integration, I've got block innovation, and then I've reduced the amount of steps that you have to take to pick an order. So when we get an order on our website, it tells us all of the details of the order, but most importantly, what goes in that order. So you grab a basket, you've got one order in your hand, you go down the main aisle, you take a right and a right, and you come back, and you've walked past every single product that we sell. Okay, so then you just pick the order. And then here on our table, we would have, 10 to 12 baskets of your WIP, your work in progress, which then gets packed right here. So you've got all of your common box sizes above you. Secondary common boxes are over there.
This is freaking brilliant, dude.
Oversized boxes are up overhead, where we've got
Gotcha.
an elevator that go up and get. So
When you say up overhead, like in the second story up above?
Yeah, so there's just a upper story here with a deck, and we've got pallets of boxes up there.
Gotcha.
Extra sizes. And so then we've got a UPS system right here. So you weigh the package, measure the package, input all the data, gets loaded on the cart. UPS comes every single day. And then we've got a toggle on the outside. So we give them the code, they let themselves in, they can load their truck themselves. And
No kidding.
So for us,
Do you do any Amazon, or is it all off your website?
no, everything's off of our website and direct from the consumer, where they give us a call.
I got you.
And so what we're fortunate right now is last year, without the computer technology here, we shipped 139 in one day. And so with the computer technology, I'm figuring we can max out around 300 packages a day.
And you don't have any desire to try the Amazon, or you just feel like it's not really profitable?
So it's profitable, right? But a lot of times with the direct ship from Amazon, there's a lot of other syrup on that Amazon rate. And so I'm going after a little bit different target market. So I've hired a media buyer on the back end to actually find who Shaver Hill Farm's target market is, rather than finding the general population of who wants maple syrup.
I got you.
Because we offer more than just maple syrup.
So you might be able to share how that is done, maybe.
Right, but we also talked about our average transaction size, right?
Yeah.
On Amazon, they're going to buy 1 quart of syrup and they're going to add it to their cart of all other things. Whereas on our website, it's funneling them to buy just maple, right? And so as far as cost of promotion, it's cost of the rental space on Amazon versus the cost of your website. I feel the website's more valuable.
Plus, there's a lot of fees with Amazon.
Correct.
A lot of people don't realize that. There's a lot of fees
with your website too, right? And we're paying for ads. But for us, what I've done is I've gone through all of our products and I've determined what our cost is with a little bit of labor buffer, and then that way I know how much money I can spend on ads before I'm breaking even and losing.
This is probably before you're born. I'm going to date myself a little bit, but early on with the websites being built, like I was in college, we were building websites. Companies would go to a website to see if you were legit.
Yep.
Like if you had a website, you were legit. Now I almost think like Amazon is a marketing tool. It's not really a profit generator. It's just to show people you're on Amazon.
Correct.
Does that make sense?
Yes. But then when you look at it, we know already how many maple producers, right? Roughly what's reported in the Northeast. And then we only have maybe 10, 15 on Amazon. So it's not a really good, description to say, well, if you're not on Amazon, you're not legit. Right?
That's a good point.
There's a lot of phenomenal sugar makers and syrup packers that aren't on Amazon that move a lot of syrup.
I just think it should come out of your marketing budget because I don't really think it's a profit center. That's just me.
Right. Yep.
I think it's like advertising.
Exactly. Yep. And that's where what's important is, so on your talk the other night, you guys were talking about understanding what your cost is, right? With or without labor is up to the discretion of the sugar maker. But then hey, if I'm selling a quart on Amazon for X and I pay all their fees and I'm getting Y, is it worth it?
Yeah. It's almost like these electric car companies have the cost to make one is greater. They're hoping to increase volume enough that eventually they'll be profitable. So the cost to sell quarts individually on Amazon, it's not profitable till you're shipping them a pallet of these quarts.
Right.
And then you're renting their space. So you better move it. So you got to sell it cheaper. You're basically losing initially in order to generate it. And everybody's basically going to shop for what the lowest price is.
Correct. And that's one thing that Amazon...
They're going to your website. They're going to see Shaver Hill. Exactly.
And Amazon, you're kind of pigeonholed. There's only so much that you can promote and advertise. Whereas a website, your creativity level is infinite.
That's a good point.
And one thing that's kind of cool here, so back during COVID, Sugar Hill kind of had a little bit of a blip, and they decided that they weren't going to do lithographing anymore. And so what they started to do was wrapping the jugs. So for us, we decided to start wrapping the red, white, and blue label that Leader used to sell. And then this actually hasn't even hit the press yet.
I was going to say, that's a good looking label.
Our first label for Shaver Hill Maple. So we've got a story on the back. We got the nutrition facts, family owner.
Where's your labeler at? You got a tabletop?
Yeah, we're gonna show you that.
Oh, you got a real one.
And then what I even did was on the bigger jugs, like the half gallon, I got a really good apple crisp recipe on there.
Genius.
That encourages the customer to use 3/4 of a cup every time. And so
just bump it up.
Yeah. And so what we'll do is we'll go down here, and as you can see overhead, when we started wrapping our red, white, and blue jugs, we had all of our customers that buy from us, and they said, well, can you do a custom label for me? So in 2 years, we've now wrapped for probably about 120, 130 brands, and our label machine yesterday just clicked 185,000 jugs.
Wow.
And so we'll sneak back.
And they never mess up. Labels never mess up. Nice.
And so this room here was the original intention was that it was supposed to be for all of our unlabeled products. And then when the demand for the jugs came into play, they had to find a home. So
and you went with a good company, Tronics.
Yep. So Tronics.
They are the best.
So we had to make the decision of to buy used or new. And so we started off with the tabletop labeler. It was working okay, but I was getting demand greater than what I could afford to put out. Like, it would take us about an hour to do maybe 2 or 3 cases of pints. I can now do a case of pints in 3 minutes.
Wow.
Right? And that's, like, with this, there's 18 different measurements of how fast you want the machine to move. We could go faster, but once...
Do you want more of this business?
Yes. And so...
So you are interested in labeling for other people?
Yeah, and so we tried to make it really simple. So you call us, it's $100 to initially get your label set up, and it's $100 per size. So quarts and half gallons would be $200, and then after that, I charge the same for this jug as I do the generic jug, because it doesn't matter to me if it's a custom label or if it's a red, white, blue label.
Interesting.
And so for us, I was talking about speed. We actually go a little bit slower, and I have one person here and one person at the end for quality control. I make sure that your label is on the front and center of the jug, that the handle's always on the right, the label break is parallel, with the line on the jug, and that there's no orientation issue. So all of our labels, you'll notice, are very close to perfect, right? That they go around and they line up, they're not crooked, they're not falling off the jug. And I even invested in a higher quality label. So it's a high gloss vinyl BOPP label and it's a pressure sensitive label. So if the consumer takes it in and out of the fridge 2 dozen times, that the label doesn't peel off, doesn't wrinkle, stuff like that.
That's important. There's a lot to labels.
Yeah,
People don't realize it.
What we've done, this is our organization of our product labels. So these are all the labels of all of our products. And so we're able to come in here, visual inventory, and very organized, determine, if we need to order labels and whatnot. And so this label company and our jug label company are the same. And so what we've been able to do is order collaboratively volume. And so what I'm able to do is get a really low price for my sticker. So on like a gallon label, to give you an idea, if you were to buy 100-gallon labels, it would cost you about $4, the quality of the label that we're putting on. Because of the volume that we're ordering, I've got that cost way down below 40 cents.
Plus with that coating, if it gets wet or something, it's pretty durable, isn't it?
Correct.
It's got almost like a varnish or something on it.
Yep, exactly. Yep. So it's a vinyl underlay and a vinyl overlay label. And so
Tell me about this guy.
Yep. So this is what ended up being a source of a lot of problems. So again, I was telling you, there's 18 different measurements, some manual.
So this thing's got so much adjustment, and people have no idea.
Yep. And so, when you look at the measurement on the wheel, it actually moves by the 1/10 of a millimeter. Okay. And so with that, as we were saying, if somebody comes in, hits this with a box, a handle, or whatever, it throws the whole production off. And so the reason why I have a bubble level on here is if this plate got tilted one way or another, and that's not level, it'll actually automatically start putting the label on crooked. And so we found that just by having a level live there, you always know that it's correct.
Do you ever use it over here to set up the angles?
I do not. So what we've been able to do on our machine is this bottom level never changes because we know that that's level with this plate.
Yep.
The only thing that changes on here is with these top ones.
I got you.
And so we've actually been trying to experiment. We're going to try to move our 8 and 12 ounce glass through here, but then we're also starting to get a demand enough for our product, like all of our bottles that are cylindrical, so like the barbecue sauce, the hot sauce, and the maple vinegar, we're going to be able to run through here as well.
Are you going to run a front back? You'll have to put it front and then turn around back?
Because it's only a one-side labeler. Our volume hasn't permitted us to get a double-sider yet. Mm-hmm. But when we made this purchase, I'm really big about crying once. So if you'll notice, this is a piece of a bottling line. And so what we're able to do now is, now that this machine is bought and paid for, we can start to scale our volume up. And then when we get a bottling line set up, the bottling line will funnel right onto this, and then it'll funnel into a boxer, everything.
Sure.
Right? And these machines here, I mean, like I was telling you.
This is probably a $35,000.
Yep, right on the money. And so for us, it came out of Indiana. The one thing that I can say, we were deciding to buy used or new. new was the ultimate decision maker because of customer service.
They're good.
What we were able to do is, this one guy, I call him Tronics Man. I FaceTime him, and he says, all right, tell me what's going on, whatever. This is the first couple weeks when we were setting up. I would hold my phone here, and he's sitting in the drive-thru at Burger King, and he says, oh, go over there, and he says, turn your label speed down 2 clicks, turn your wrap speed up 3 clicks, and he says, run a couple jugs through. And he's a little bit more, and he says, all right, I think you're going to have to drop your label speed 1 more point. And then you send a jug through, and it's perfect. And then, meanwhile, he's cashing out at Burger King and going through the drive-thru.
I got to meet this guy.
So that guy was, it's all about your Rolodex. And so with this, these things will run millions of units. So when you buy a used one, it's just like a used car. How much life is left in it? And so I will say that our volume was tenfold what we were originally expecting. And so this is actually going to come out of this room and go into our sugar house this summer so that I can wrap more efficiently. Right now I have to bring individual cases in, whereas up in our sugar house we have the overhead doors, we can bring pallets in. So during the summertime when we're a little bit slower, I'm able to increase our volume and our efficiency to decrease the cost, so I'm not wrapping during the sugar incident.
Gotcha.
And the big thing that we were able to do, because it's us and we're right here, my label company ships within 48 hours of an order. I'm able to upload all the graphics myself. My turnaround time is 2 to 3 weeks on any order.
That's really good. One of the coolest things New York ever did was this logo up here. If you look at the center of these 3 leaves, it's the state of New York. At least the good part of it.
And so now we'll work our way up through the rest of the sugar house. And so as you can see here, I actually have some customers that they're grocery store markets, and as you know, grocery store demand, sometimes it's not always predictable. So I've developed a relationship with them where some of them have bought the labels and want to store the labels here, and I can actually wrap on demand. So my 2 to 3 week window can actually be shortened into like 3 or 4 days.
Are you running the labeler, or you got people helping you?
So right now I run the labeler, and then I usually
Do you put them on and catch them on the other side too?
No. So I stand at one end with the orientation, and then I usually have somebody at the other end, whether it's my mom, my girlfriend, one of us in the family, is doing the quality control on the other end.
Look at all these glass bottles over here too. It's cool.
You can walk right down that
Heck
aisle.
yeah, man.
You can see all of our products.
Look at this.
And so being that I work with my dad and uncle, and they're a little bit apt to take on technology quickly, we decided to do a visual inventory rather than a POS inventory. I think we're going to hit a brick wall on that because our volume has 4x.
Explain visual versus POS.
Yeah, so with POS, so like down here when you're looking, right? So they're in the case. We don't know how many's in there.
Sure.
Right? So institutional knowledge, I can tell you there's 12 per case, right? But visual inventory means right here I can count 1, 2, 3, and it's in a row. Right? But then when you have overstock and there's inventory in different places, warehouses, or it's not a countable figure, that's where a POS system isn't handy, right? And so the problem is we've got, like right now on our website, just on the product side, probably a couple hundred SKUs. And then on our, equipment side, just I know for Leader-H2O is over 10,000 SKUs, right? And we have probably close to 1,000 of those SKUs, the common SKUs, on our website. And that's all inventoried by the 3 of us, my dad, my uncle, and myself.
You guys have everything here. Coffee. So maple coffee. You even got doggy treats here,
Yeah, puppy pancakes and
puppy
maple
pancakes.
dog bones.
Maple dog bones. Listen, I know there's some people with dogs watching this channel that maple dog bones right here. Man, this is amazing. Lollipops. Try to get a shot of everything here.
Yep. And so what's cool is being that we're an equipment dealer, when new glass bottles come into play, we're able to fill them and actually test market them right in our store.
You got to say it again.
So
say it again.
If a new glass bottle comes out, we fill them, put them in our store, see how they look, see how they sell. Then when the customer comes in and says, hey, what's a good glass bottle to sell?
You use your store as a test market.
Exactly. Yep. And so
we do too.
For us, it's able to give us, positive feedback to our customer and make sure that we don't have a lot of dead inventory.
Maple cream cookies. Those actually sell quite well.
Yep. So in our store, you'll notice we've got the vanilla ones and the chocolate ones. And so, like I said, we'll kind of work our way on that.
I'm trying to keep up with them, but I'm a little huskular.
And so we got fresh batch of maple sugar candies.
One of them.
You could be the discernment of how they taste.
Yes. Crunch on the outside, soft on the inside.
So this is a picture of my dad. This is when we were doing a school. So we actually show the producers and customers, if they were there, actually how to make the maple syrup candies. And so during our seminar, my dad will get up and anybody can try out the machine. And that's our machine that we use right here at home, and it's our molds that we use as well. And then this is our good friend Scott Reed, where we also show producers how to make the maple coated nuts. This is a drone shot that I took. So we're here. This is my parents' house, and we were able to tap all the trees that you can see here. This is fall foliage we actually tapped.
That's awesome.
And so we've got the 5,000 expansion over there, 1,400 up here. We've got about 2,400 here, and then there's about 1,100 here.
Where are you living?
So I just bought another 42.5 acres way on the other side of the farm, where we added another 1,000 taps, literally in my own backyard. Added another tap lease, added another 1,000 taps this summer.
You're gonna need a bigger evaporator.
So then these two pictures, that's my uncle David, also showing how to make the granulated sugar. So what we're able to do is actually, boots on the ground, show everybody, and then they can ask, live Q&A rather than just the video.
Now it's clever how you hung these pictures. I think is this here just for like protection?
No, so this is on purpose. This was 30p tubing as a picture frame holder.
I got you. Did you screw this in and then?
Yep.
Yeah. So I see.
Exactly.
So
and then it just sits in there. So now, if for whatever reason we want to update the pictures, change them,
slip it right out.
So we just buy a cheap little picture frame.
Is that 3/4 inch?
Yes, it is. That's all we use here. And then, believe it or not, this is me actually 6 years old.
I can't believe it. You aged like your dad. This is your dad. This is probably 30 years ago. Or 20 years from now. It doesn't matter. He looks the same.
And then this picture here, this is another friend of ours. This is during Maple Weekend. So we got both of these going on, where we do horse-drawn wagon rides that we actually take customers right to the sugar bush to show them our pump house and the sap coming in. Most of the time, sap's running on Maple Weekend. And then we do all-you-can-eat pancakes and sausage. So the last 2 weekends of March, we serve about 1,000 people each weekend.
Wow.
And these are some wood shots. This is a really good, helpful tool when people come in and they don't really understand the concept of tubing, right? They know the old-fashioned bucket style. Mm-hmm. We're able to show them the individual parts, like the spile, the drop, the lateral, and the main.
Heck yeah.
Yeah. And then this is the second edition. This is our sugar house.
1993, 1994?
93, 94, yep. And so right now we're boiling on a 6x16 liter rig. And then we're in the works, potentially, maybe upgrading that. And then over there, we'll kind of walk around everything. But today, like I said, we got our maple equipment open house going on. So we've got our maple kitchen there that serves as two-purpose. We use it for events like this where we're actually able to cook the food, and then we can put everything away, and then it's also our bottling kitchen during the primary season.
Cool.
So we got our RO room, and then on the other side is all of our tank storage, and then our equipment showroom. So what we'll do is we'll go backwards. We'll start with syrup and make our way back to sap.
Sure.
This here, this is last season. This season was the bottom 4 rows. And so each one of those bottles, what we do is, it's not our only source, but we have the date of it was produced on and the drum number. And so our customers really like the ability to see when the lighter syrup's made versus the darker syrup. And then we have here the old grading system versus a new grading system. And then we also have testing your maple IQ. So a lot of people don't actually realize how much real maple syrup is in, artificial brands like Mrs. Butterworth, Log Cabin.
0 now.
Yep. And so there's some of them that have got 1 or 2% like Log Cabin, but most of them are actually 0% real maple syrup.
Sure.
Nice store.
Yeah.
So we're not set up to bottle today, but everything here, this is a 40-gallon water-jacketed canner. It's a liter evaporator canner with the old liter fill stops. Mm-hmm. It's working for us right now with our volume. Right now, when one person's canning, with this setup, you can do about 6 quarts a minute, what we find is a pretty comfortable thing. And so then everything gets bottled, all the glass gets hand-filled, and then it comes here, and this is the labeling station. So the one unique part about our label is I actually printed, if you noticed before, I actually printed the amber sticker right on there. So if it's an amber graded jug, all I do is put the cap on and it's done. You don't have to put an address sticker on, you don't have to put a grade sticker on. But what I did is I printed the amber sticker to be 90% of our grade sticker. So then if it's dark syrup, I change the color of the cap and I cover the amber, and it's a whole new graded jug.
Smart.
Yep. And then here in the back section, we got 3-bay sink, and then this is where we do all the cooking for Maple Weekend.
This is where the pancake picture is.
Yep.
This is where they're flapping jacks. Nice little kitchen, man.
Yep. And so what we're trying to figure out is, what does it look like if we had to fit that labeler in here and fit a bottling line in here? We might have some growing pains. So for our arch and pan and steam away setup, right now when we're boiling, we're making between 50 and 60 gallons of syrup an hour. Right now we're concentrating to between 10 and 12%. We RO a little bit differently than some people. We actually RO to demand our evaporator. So we don't double pass that, and we don't let any concentrates in. So we've got a head tank up there that comes out of our RO, and it takes us less than an hour to clean that whole head tank. So we'll show you our new RO. This is our third RO for the farm, but this is our second season, complete season on this RO. This is H2O Supra. It's a 12-post machine. When we designed this, we kind of were a little creative about it because we knew that this was kind of an abnormal machine for this area of the state. So we wanted to make sure that we had a little bit of redundancy put in. So you'll notice that it's actually 2 ROs, Osmose 1 and Osmose 2, and we had the ability to run it in series or parallel. So what that means is we can run them together as one unit or have 2 6-post machines. Where this is really cool is at the end of the season you get that what we call nuisance sap, where it's just enough that I got to boil it, but not enough to make a whole lot. So what we can do is we can actually isolate half the machine, and we only have to run it as a 6-post machine rather than a full-fledged 12-post.
That's smart.
And so you've got your 2 output permeate lines and then your 2 input lines. This machine here, it'll do roughly 36 to 3,800 gallons an hour. We've noticed that the 2 key things that we all know is temperature and incoming sugar content.
Very cool. It's a heck of a machine. Huh.
And then we'll go around. Another thing we're talking about redundancy, you'll notice we actually have 2 filter presses side by side. Reason being is when we're boiling, we end up using both of them in the same night, right? But in the off season, when we're bottling syrup, we bottle 1 drum at a time. You don't need 1 massive filter press. So what we're able to do is just use 1 filter press when we're heating the syrup.
Gotcha.
And then also too, if you blow a press mid-production, you got a brand new press ready to go. Got our workbench with all of our drills and everything. This year was the first year we used the precision tapper. Definitely would recommend it.
This guy? This guy here?
Yep, you can grab it.
Yeah, I want to try one of these.
So I bought this out of curiosity. Everything, it's kind of like Ronald Reagan, tried but true, right? So we trust but verify. So what we're doing is with the precision tapper, you've got the 6 points of contact, and so when it comes to bad tap holes, we have 2 things that we worry about: tap hole placement and then oblong holes, right, from the wobble. And so this was going to remove 50% of my problems, right? That's huge. And so what I decided to do was give it a shot, right? And so it was.
It also like reduces fatigue?
Correct. So I was going to get to that. So whether it's right or wrong, I actually double pass all of our woods. So the first time through, I fix everything and I put spouts on. Then on the second pass, I tap. Okay, so I actually tap. I usually have my girlfriend or somebody behind me. So I'm doing all the drilling and somebody else is with the hammer. Arguable on efficiency or not, however, in one day we're able to tap about 1,000 trees. So the first 100 holes, I'll go tap for tap with you. We're going to have perfect holes. The hole number 1,000 that day, this, I'm going to beat you every time.
Yeah, I got you.
Right?
Yeah, I'd like to try one of these.
And so another thing that I would recommend, there's 2 options with the precision tapper. You can buy the kit for your drill, or you can buy the drill with it already attached. My personal feeling is it has intended purpose. Buy it as one whole
ready
thing
to
and
go.
Only use it for tapping. So now for the rest of the year.
So if you catch somebody pulling this off because they want to drive some sheet metal screws, you'll be a little irritated.
Yep.
That's a good point.
So older style arch. This arch is actually pretty old. This was bought back in like the 90s when we actually moved from our old sugar house to here. And then the pan sets are from 2005. So we try to do a pretty good job of keeping things clean.
Oh, heck yeah.
Lots of
The amazing thing is how clean your RO room smells. Nobody's RO room smells that good.
So as you can see here, we got a couple different vendors. Today we decided to sell some Lapierre tubing at cost. So we just partnered with Lapierre this year to take them on as a secondary dealer. And so what we're doing is we're actually selling a roll of tubing for $45.76 today, which is our cost. What I was hoping is to get a lot of my normal customers to put a roll of this in their woods, give us some feedback on it. The one thing that we're finding that's going to be kind of a big win is even for the smaller producer, they're recommending that this tubing can be your lateral and your drop line tubing.
I got you.
It's flexible enough as a drop line, but also, rigid enough to use it as your laterals. So kind of if you kind of pan out here, so we've got this releaser up here. This one was new this season. That's an electric releaser made by Airblow with a VFD on the pump. Kind of a unique combination. There's only 1,400 taps that are feeding it, but what we wanted is the one thing that causes pumps to go bad, is when they turn on and they turn off, turn on, turn off. So we put the VFD on there so that way when it's ready to pump, it's a slow, long pump, and then we oversized the basin so that you don't ever have to worry about getting that sap out of there.
Gotcha.
And then with that releaser and even our other releaser, we're putting 2 pumps in there because we want to make sure if one pump fails, we've got redundancy back. Yep. So we've got Lapierre today. We've got Tom Bouchard, former Leader employee who can do some stainless repairs for you if you need to fix your glue pan or syrup pan. And then we've got GIS over in the corner. And then we have Leader Evaporator today demonstrating some of their new fillers.
Yeah, that filler's sweet.
I make video.
Yeah, I think so.
And then here, this is my sister's business. So Delco Creative, the one that does our website. As you can see, she's does a lot of apparel. So you can do hats, shirts, sweatshirts, does your website, even does your logos for you.
Heck yeah, man. This is cool. Really nice.
All right, and then here we've got a couple tanks set up. And then we've also got some of our micro ROs. So this is the Leader Mini Micro on top of a tank just for demonstration purposes. Today we are doing a 10% discount across the board, and then we also got a Micro 2. And so as we walk into the showroom, the one thing that you'll notice, this inventory is here year-round. So this is a fully stocked showroom where you're able to come, and it's just like grocery shopping.
Yeah, you must run down front because the book's going.
And so in here we've got a predominant line of Leader-H2O stuff. We've been a Leader dealer from the early 2000s, and then like I said, this year we've taken on Lapierre. So you'll notice in our evaporator lineup we've tucked in one of the new Lapierre Visions. This is all of your tubings. We have them all stacked together. This is your immediate buy, but it's also so people the common producer can grab that. And then right behind you we've got all of this tubing is implemented. Right? So we've got a couple different style taps put in with the check valves, the regular spouts, a couple different drop line tubings. This is Grip, the semi-rigid. We show a main line system, and then we've also showed you how to build a whip and what a wet dry line system looks like. And in the background, I've got a couple pictures of some different key parts that I like to show people. Just like any sugar maker, you've got a few thousand photos on your phone. So that way, when you're trying to explain something, it's right there. You can share the pictures along everything. And then we just redesigned our showroom this summer. So the whole theory with the showroom was like is with like. So you buy 5/16 fittings, turn right around, like is with like. The fittings for the tubing is right there. The tools that you need for 5/16 are all here. And then this is all of your mainline fittings. So we carry banjo quick connect fittings, stainless fittings, and plastic fittings. So some people don't want to have the stainless fittings. They're on a gravity system, want to go a little bit more economical and go plastic. But you also use the plastic for your sap bladders, etc. One thing that my blessing on all this was that it was all color coded. So everything in the store that's yellow is 3/4 inch. So all the way from over there in our stainless threaded cabinet to here to the quick connects to the plastic, all 3/4 yellow. And that goes through all the different sizes of fittings. And the reason we did that is because usually during maple season, the sugar maker himself or herself isn't the one here. It's usually the significant other, the kid, or the parent.
Go get me this fitting.
Go get me this fitting. And so that when they come, if it's, my dad said, get me the yellow fitting. It's, we can make less mistakes happen. Then behind you, we've got the lineup of all the different canners, and then for the hobbyists, the hand pump filter press. And then as we go down, we've got all of your mainline supplies, and then here we've got the 3/16 fittings. In our old showroom, there was commonly an issue where they would get a roll of 5/16 tubing, but get 3/16 fittings. Doesn't work too well. So again, we put like with like.
Keep it away from it. Yeah.
We also carry the plastic sap buckets. We have hobbyists that come in where we want, 1 or 2 buckets, up to 20. And then we've got, a little bit of our inventory of the main line here if somebody wants 1 roll. If you want to do a full woods install, we have more inventory in a different warehouse. And then here,
This is for the quick grab it and go.
Yep, exactly. And then this line here, this is all of your confections. So we teach you how to make the confections, but then if you want to, do some white labeling, test your market, but then you want to actually buy a machine for yourself, we stock the machines. And then everything that you would need to even make it and even pack the candies and creams. In this back aisle, this is where you get to your packaging. So this is all of our highest volume bottles, 8 and 12 ounce glass. So we've always got a pallet of them. And then here what I did was all of the maple leaves are color corresponding with the jugs. So if you've got a red or a yellow maple leaf here, you come here and you grab a yellow leaf bag of caps.
Smart.
And so everything is all labeled and it tells you the case and the individual quantities. And then our gallons of milk in the grocery store is our jugs, right? This is why people come here, so to buy the jugs. So we put the jugs in the farthest corner so that everybody's walking past all of our inventory. And so what we did intentionally was we didn't publicize we were changing this around. So today during our open house, when people walked in, there was a little bit of a shell shock of let me walk around. And the one comment that we've gotten the most today is, I didn't know you had this before. And none of our inventory changed. If anything, we actually took inventory out of here that was overstock. And so what we did is we built this aisle back here. You can.
Oh, heck yeah. It's big enough for one.
Yeah, so what we did is we made it shopping to be uncomfortable. We put all of our overstock and stuff in here. So now I have scarcity on the floor, but if somebody says, hey, I need a couple thousand of that fitting or whatever, we've got all the fittings bagged and in thousands all counted out and labeled and ready to go.
Gotcha.
So rather than, always picking from the floor, we can come to the overstock aisle and pick from here.
So this is like if they want to grab a full box or full bags or.
Yep. And then this cabinet here, we've got, this is all of your filters, all the way from your cone filters to your flat filters, and even your pre-filters. So we got all those that are tight. And then this is our RO cabinet. So the common RO filters, 10s and 20s, all the way down to your chemicals with the, acid, magic, glycol, stuff like that.
Where's the grease?
The grease.
Yeah.
We don't put grease in.
You don't use O-ring grease? Or?
Oh, O-ring grease. Yeah, O-ring grease is over there.
Oh, I'm sorry. That must be an Ohio term.
No.
What do you guys call it?
It's just food grease.
Lube. Ah, there it is.
Yep. And so there we've got the Atmos defoamer and the pan cleaner. And so we stationed this here specifically because when somebody walks in our showroom, I want them to see that, right? So we wanted to make sure that the jugs were visible from when you walked in, the 5/16 fittings and tubing were visible, the arches, the eye candy, and then your common.
You're going to need a bigger store, bud.
So here we've got everything that goes on the middle shelf is going to be more of what kind of goes with your evaporators. And then underneath is we got a couple new releasers. One unique thing here, these are all of your O-rings and parts and pieces to releasers. Okay? And so if
They don't work well if one of those are broken.
No. And so you're able to come in. We've got everything all the way from the tiny little O-rings to the big parts, to the nylon parts, the odds and ends.
It's a good thing to have.
Yep. And then overhead we've got all of our pan gaskets. And then we even, we do stock 40-gallon stainless drums and even the 15-gallon kegs. So kind of as you've seen, we're predominantly Leader-H2O, but now we're slowly integrating some of the, the Lapierre line, the D&G line, stuff like that. Because
Cool.
we're not independent, but we're independent for our sugar makers, right? So, and if they come in and they say, hey, I want that other company's fitting, we've got, our network of people that we can work with to get the producer what they want.
Cool. Heck yeah, man. How do you have so much energy?
Lots of coffee. I drink about 14 cups a day.
This is very cool. Thanks, man.
Yeah, no, thank you.
This is a great tour. This little evaporator, you got a story behind this guy?
I do. So this is actually an old show salesman model, right? So the way it used to work was instead of coming to a showroom, the salesman would knock on your door, typically, a dairy farm, because that was the dairy maple combo, and they'd have a case and they'd open it up and they'd put it together on your kitchen table. And they would say, this is, a model size of your evaporator. And so with auctions and stuff like that, obviously they don't use that technology anymore, but now when you go to auction or stuff, sometimes you can, pick one up here or there. So my grandfather picked that one up. And then this actual sugar house was built by our neighbor. He says, if you got an evaporator, you got to have a sugar house. So he built us a full sugar
Very
house.
cool. Now these things are like working models. Like
Yes.
they are very intricate. You can like open these doors. I mean, it's unbelievable. And this was what brand here? It's on the side, I think. King Evaporator.
Yep. Old Leader Kings.
Very cool.
And they were very, like you were saying, they were working, but they were very detail oriented, all the way to what material was being used, what color it was going to be. So when that came,
That hobby is exactly like the actual manufactured unit.
yeah, exactly. And so this used to sit in the back corner, and we didn't really, do too much with it. So we decided to put it on display.
Yeah.
Overhead there, you'll see above my dad, off the floor space, is our mini micro museum. So we've got stuff from the original, galvanized tubing that they made, to wooden sap buckets, metal sap buckets, old sugar molds.
Heck yeah.